Hare Krishna. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Tasmai Shri Gurave Hare Krishna. There is something called prayas also, which people do when they come with problems. Like there are some artificial means for going for getting children. So they use their artificial means. So in that case, they may feel that okay, this is the arrangement by Lord, so I want to have a child, and let me take help of some artificial means like this to beget children. That is also to some extent uh, allowed because actually Krishna don't want, but they are so desperate. Then Krishna allows, and he want to them. We want them to get purified in a particular way. But they don't want that purify, don't want this. Then they do prayasa. Then they go for some artificial means. Then Krishna agrees for that, and he will help them to purify in a different way. That's how the system works. So nothing happens by chance. Everything is for purification. To the degree a person is able to accept. Basically, at the end of life, we want to go to spiritual world means we have to accept the will of Krishna. That is qualified. But what happens is the conditions are so strong for us to accept the will of Krishna becomes difficult. We feel, yeah, it's Krishna want it, but I don't want it. So Krishna always gives a question paper which is little higher than what we can write, so that we will work little harder and try to pass it. But if we don't make it, then Krishna will reduce the syllabus. But ultimately, it's not what we have in this material world. Ultimately, how much we are willing to accept the desire of the Lord. That makes actually the difference for us to go back to God. That is the main criteria for going back to God, accepting the will of Krishna. So there are so many things that desires are there, but some people say, okay, even if my desires are not fulfilled, it's okay. But for some, it's very difficult because the ego don't adjust. The point is like there is a programming in the computer. So it's if you all know the computers, you need to have the programming operating system. Sorry. So if you have operating system, then only you will be able to run certain programs. Otherwise, no. And presently, operating system is false ego. So pride is the operating system we have. So all the things that run, the programs that run will run like that only. That means anything we do, it affects our false ego. Or anything happens to it, it directly affects our false ego. It becomes very difficult for us to accept certain things. How can I be low in the society? How can I be not very rich? How can I not have a car? Uh, how can I not have children? How can I not? So this is one thing because our ego does not accept. So there are so many other like so many things. So that is ego, and another is conditionings, and so many. Of course, ego is also conditioning. But this is what actually holds us from accepting the will of Krishna. And then things like Diti also wanted children, but the what do you say? The result is not good. Of course, good in the sense the grandson became Prahlad. That is good only. We are all getting benefited because Varahadev appeared and Narsingadev appeared. In that way, it is good, but she repented, and that's why the result went good. Similarly, if we have a desire, we pray, and then later on we say, "My dear Lord, I know it's a wrong, and please forgive me, accept me, understand my condition." Lord says, "Okay." The end result will be good. Ultimately, we have to surrender. Both cases we need surrender. If you don't get also surrender, if you get also surrender, because even if you get also things won't be so rosy and things like that. The point is the surrender is very important. Even if somebody is doing ekadasis for certain things, the prayerful mood is actually what makes them closer to Krishna. Even if they are praying, okay, and Putada Ekadasi they are doing, they should pray that, okay, even if I don't get also, but let me become closer to Krishna. So their absorption in Krishna, not that Krishna will give. He may give, may not give. You may do Putada Ekadasi, uh, all the Putada Ekadasis also, Krishna may not give because uh, fortunately, unfortunately, it comes only once in a year. That means it's a big endeavor. Means how many once in a year only you have a chance. So Krishna is also very tricky. Mhm. He may give some things which we ask. It's not just for children, any other things also he may give when we don't need, or when we are already done with it. Like say I want to become famous. Now Krishna may not make you famous for 10 years. By the 10 years, your desire to become famous is gone. And in the 11th year, Krishna will make you famous. So even if you get it also, it does not affect you much. Before it, if he would have made you famous, you might have forgotten Krishna, or got pride and got distracted. But he will do it when it is not going to affect you. If you have that faith on Krishna, okay, let Krishna do whatever you want. Let me go through that uh, an uncomfortable condition, pain or suffering or whatever, or the because say if I want to become famous, it is nothing loss actually if you don't become, but the desire is causing the pain. Not getting the desire fulfilled is causing the pain, and there is an endeavor made in the direction. So I'm just giving an example. So like that, there are many things that Krishna uh, decides to give or not give, and everything happens by the will of Lord only. So if we have that, more we are able to accept the will, more we are considered as devotees, and that will make us closer to Krishna. At the end of life, what is counted is how much we are absorbed in Krishna, not how many children we begotten or how much property we made, how many cars we purchased, how many houses we made, and that is not counted only. How what is counted is how much I am absorbed in the holy name, how much absorbed in Bhagavatam. And because what happens, no, we are Bahirmukh. We always look outside, and we look outside, and we always have a tendency to compare. Like yesterday, I met all my classmates after 25 years or more. I met all my classmates from the school. So all are in big positions. They all came in big, big cars. I went in my small car. So now there will be definitely comparison among themselves, and they are all doing good. They are all in a very nice. They have achieved something very good materially. Now, what is the point is that they are so much bahirmukh. Everybody was sharing what they did and all. But I was feeling little sad for all of them that these people are so much caught up with these things. Where is the hope? I know they will do all nonsense there, but still I went because I wanted to give them some Krishna consciousness. And I didn't eat, just I took some fruit juice whole day. Means here I took prasad in my center, but it was a whole day event. Then I thought at least, but they appreciated. Okay, this person don't eat. I thought at least they'll appreciate ISKCON, that will benefit them. So that's the reason I went. But what I was thinking is the false ego is so high. They're so much struggling. Even though they are achieving materially, they struggle so much to come there, and there is no guarantee that there won't be struggle further. That is the point. I asked, okay, you are struggling. That was my opportunity to speak. I took in the last so that I don't want to spoil their mood. Everybody told how they struggled and how they achieved everything. In the end, it was my turn. I said, "Oh, it was good. You all did all these things." Now, my point is, will you guarantee that in future you don't get any situation like this? I said, no guarantee. That I said that is my point. And why you are doing all these things? Because false ego motivates like that. That is the problem. False ego motivates a person to act in a particular way because they identify like that very strongly. Then uh, I told, "Arey, you are not the body, you are not the mind also. Why are you so much working for it? You are the spirit soul. Your identity is only wrong." Of course, none of them understood. Maybe I don't want to might have understood. But the point is, mm, it's actually very uh, difficult for people normal. What is problem is our ego only. We identify ourselves as so and we want to have social acceptance and so many other things. And whatever Krishna wants, that is the best thing for us. Krishna is so loving and caring. So he will give. But some our conditions, we still ask Krishna, no, 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 I want this way only. Krishna says, okay, fine with me. So here, uh, not only us, even demigods also know, they also are like that only. They are also asking so many things from the Lord. And we also ask. Because the mind does not listen to us. If mind listens to us, we are all in the spiritual world. We are in the material world, that means the mind is conditioned. And now, oh, of course, I'm speaking all these things because I don't have. Maybe if I get some strong desire, I may also say, okay, I don't want all these things. I only want my desire to be fulfilled. And definitely happens like that. It's not that and now I am not in like say I don't need any children or any of these things. So I can speak, but somebody who's going through it, it's not so easy for them to accept. And because what happens, no, it is actually an emotional state. Logic don't apply there. This type of instructions which I am speaking is when everything is nice, everything is rosy, and everything is fine. That time, this type of instructions work. But when person is going through some situations, he's in an emotional state. It's impossible an emotional state to understand. That is why we need to, when we are in good state, we have to become read Shastra nicely and become philosophically very strong. So that it helps when we are going through crisis. Let's say the training in the Vedic time is given in the childhood only with all the scriptures. Because when they understand all these things, when they grow through certain situations, immediately they can relate. Is yeah, this is what I was taught in Gurukul. And now after 25 years, after 20 years, we are learning, then it becomes very difficult because we are already conditioned. And some people are coming to Krishna conscious in 30s and 40s. Quite tough. But anyway, this is the principle that we pray to Lord to get our desires fulfilled. And some falasrutis are also there, which we can take help, like Rukmini prayers. If somebody is not getting married, they can read Rukmini's prayers and they can read section in Ramayana of Mother Sita marrying Lord Ram. There are certain sections. They are devotional. Do it. I also, if somebody is not having marriage problem, I also recommend. Okay, read Rukmini's prayers, but not guaranteed. Some people got it done. It helped some people. Some people it didn't help. Basically, Krishna, whatever Krishna wants. So that is the point. We have to know that this is a very Lord is a person. If you know that it becomes things becomes little easy. He is a person and he is personally taking care. So if this understanding is there, then things are a little more easy. I'm dealing with a person, and I have a trying to develop a personal relation. Then things are quite easy compared to some impersonal energy is happening, and he's loving father. Not that he don't know what I'm going through, and he can hear every prayer of us. He can understand every situation of us. To the degree we are getting connected to him, then that is actually success. Connecting to Krishna is success. Whether he fulfills the desire or not, that is not a that is secondary. But accepting him as a person and treating him as a person and dealing, it's what is important. And he also want that only at the end. We had marriages, we had children, many lifetimes. What we didn't had is absorption in Krishna. And again, this lifetime we are again asking for the same thing. We want to get absorption in Krishna. That is not there. Everything we got in many lifetimes. And again, we are caught up with the same thing. Oh, I don't have this, I don't have that. You already had all these things. Now you got opportunity to become devotees. Because when I saw my classmates, I felt very sad. Arey, they have everything, but they don't have Krishna. Like, uh, recently in Mumbai, this Ambanis, they got their son married. Now, what is marriage? Important thing is they're able to uh, remember Lord or some of at least some Krishna bhajans and all they're doing. So, what is the most important thing is what is the greatest blessing for them is in spite of so much, they're still devotional. That is a blessing. Many people have money, but I have seen my classmates and all, they have money, but they're all mischievous people only. And here, they're the world's top 10 richest, one of the top 10 richest people, but still they are so humble in front of Lord. That is the greatest blessings. And now that blessings we also have. We also can be humble in front of Lord. That is a blessing. Not having wealth is not a blessing. And because our ability to enjoy is very limited only. And in material world, what is their enjoyment? It is not much enjoyment. So greatest blessing is remembering the Lord. And that we all have it. And that only we have to count. And say if Krishna gives us, at least for me, I can guarantee, if Krishna gives me 1,000 crore, 101% I'm guarantee I will not be able to sit every day morning and give Bhagavatam class or discuss Bhagavatam with all of you. Not even 1,000, 100 crores is sufficient. My mind will immediately get distracted. So Krishna is very kind. He knows whom to give what. So he knows he made somebody poor or rich, but that is not for material point of view, it may be different. But spiritually, everything is anybody in the material world is poor only. They don't have Krishna. So that is the part. We'll come to purpose. Just complete some of the things. Brahma continued. He was struck by the forefoot of Lord, whom yogis seek freedom from their unreal material bodies, meditate upon his seclusion in mystic trance. While gazing on his countenance, his chest jewel of Titisan was has cast off his mortal coil. We'll see what Prabhupada says. The process of yoga is very clearly described in this verse, Srimad Bhagavatam. It said here that the ultimate end of yogis and mystics who perform meditation is to get rid of this material body. Therefore, they meditate in a secluded place to attain yogic trance. Yoga has to be performed in a secluded place, not in public or in a demonstration on stage. As nowadays practiced by many so-called yogis. Real yoga aims at ridding one of the material body. Yoga is practice not intended to keep the body fit and young. Prabhupada is so direct. Such advertisement of so-called yoga are not approved by any standard methods. Particularly mentioned in this verse is the word yama or unto, yam or unto whom, indicating that meditation should be targeted on the personality of Godhead. Because if we have a famous yoga guru who travels across in India, and now thousands of people come. He performs live shows every day morning. He has, and the TV many thousands of people attend. And when he performs, also thousands of people. He's good because I take. He gives free coverage. Every day, two classes come in Telugu channel of his Asta channel. I give two classes. Means they recorded. They explain. He's spreading. He's doing good activity. But when it comes to yoga, Prabhupada has a different opinion, which is the proper opinion. Even if one concentrates his mind on the pure form of the Lord, that is also yoga. See, yoga means to concentrate our mind on Lord. That's all. This yoga is to keep body fit. But yoga is that is we cannot count as yoga, but you can have a good healthy body to concentrate mind on Krishna. That's why we do yoga. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, one who concentrates his mind constantly in meditation upon the personality of Godhead is one of his many varieties of form, is the first class yoga, and he can very easily attain trance simply by meditating upon the form of Lord. If one is able to continue such meditation on Lord's form at the time of one's death, one is liberated from this mortal body and is transformed to the kingdom of God. This opportunity was given to the demon by the Lord, and therefore Brahma and other demigods were astonished. In other words, the perfection of yoga practice can be attained by a demon. Also, if he simply kinked by the Lord. Then the two personal assistants of the Supreme Lord, having been cursed, have been destined to take birth in the demonic family. After a few such births, they will return to their own position. So this is Brahma is telling all this story. The demigods addressed the Lord. All obeisances unto you. You are the enjoyer of all sacrifices, and you have assumed the form of a boar in pure goodness for the purpose of maintaining the world. Fortunately for us, this demon, who was a torment to the worlds, have been slain by you, and we too, O Lord, are now at ease in devotion to your lotus feet. This nice purport, Prabhupada, that the material world consists of three modes, but the spiritual world is pure goodness. It is said here that the form of Lord is pure goodness, which means that it is not material. In the material world, there is no pure goodness. In the Bhagavad Gita, the stage of pure goodness is called Sattvam Vishuddham. Vishuddham means pure. In pure goodness, there is no contaminations. The form of food, therefore, is not material. It's all spiritual. The sacrifices which are recommended in the Vedas are meant to please the Supreme Lord. In ignorance, only people try to satisfy many other agents, but the real purpose of life is to satisfy Vishnu. All sacrifices are meant for Supreme Lord. Living entities who know this perfectly well are called demigods. Since the living entities is part and parcel of Lord, it is his duty to serve the Lord. This Krishna conscious movement is developed by devotional service as clearly mentioned. So purified life is meant to please the Lord, and all sacrifices performed in purified life are called Krishna conscious. Now Maitreya is telling, after thus killing the most formidable demon, Supreme Lord Hari, the origin of the boar species, returned to his abode where there is always an uninterrupted festival. The Lord was praised by all demigods headed by Brahma. So, first the species Lord comes, then other living entity. This is the origin of boar species. Prabhupada writes here, the Lord is spoken of herein as the origin of boar species. As stated in Vedanta Sutra, absolute truth is the origin of everything. Therefore, it is understood that all 8 lakh, 84 lakh species of bodily forms originate from the Lord, who is always Adi, at the beginning. And in this situation, the Lord assumed the shape of a boar to kill the demon Hiranyaksha and pick up the earth from the Garbha ocean. Thus he became Adi Shukra, the original boar. In the metal world, a boar or a pig is considered most abominable, but Adi Shukra, the Supreme Lord, was not treated as an ordinary boar. This verse confirmed that the statement in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord appears as he is from his transcendental abode for the sake of killing the miscreants. So Lord is coming from his own abode. This statement that the Lord returned to his own abode indicates that he has his own particular transcendental residence. He is full of all energies, he is all pervasive in spite of his residence in Golok Vrindavan, just as sun, although situated in one particular place within the universe, is present by shining. So Lord goes to Varadeva as his Varah Loka. Although the Lord has his particular abode in which he resides, he is all pervasive. So Lord is in the Virat Rupa, all the living entities stay in him. As an impersonal Brahman, he is all pervading in the form of energies. Paramatma is in everyone's heart, in Bhagwan as in his abode. So Lord can be all these four forms. And Prabhupada especially mentioned in this verse the word Akhandotsavam. Utsava means pleasure. Whenever some function takes place to express happiness is called Utsava. Utsava, the expression of complete happiness, is always present in Vaikuntha Lokas. The Lord descended from his abode in this world, therefore he is called Avatara, which means one who descends. Incarnation is actually not the correct word. Avatar is right. Kar means a material body, mortal body. So entering into a mortal body, that's incarnation. But here it's an avatar. It's descending. So he's not taking up a material body. He's already having it, just coming in there like that. Maitreya continued, my dear Vidra, I have explained to you the personality of God. It's coming down as a form, first boar incarnation, killing is in a great fight, a demon of unprecedented powers, as if he was just a plaything. This has been narrated by me as I heard it from my predecessor spiritual masters. So Maitreya is telling, I just am repeating. Prabhupada writes nice Prabhupada. He says, here the sage Maitreya admits that he explained the incident of killing Hiranyaksha by the Supreme Personality of Godhead as a straight narration. He did not manufacture anything or add interpretation, but explained whatever he had heard from his spiritual master. Thus, he accepted as bona fide system of parampara or receiving the transcendental message in disciplic succession. Unless received by this bona fide process of hearing from his spiritual master, the statement of an acharya preceptor cannot be valid. So the formula is very simple. We have to repeat what we are hearing. We have to hear from the right source. No need to manufacture. Just repeating only there is so much potency. It is also stated here that although the demon Hiranyaksha was unlimited in powers, he was just like a doll for the Lord. A child breaks so many dolls without real endeavor. Similarly, although a demon may be very powerful and extraordinary in the eyes of an ordinary man in the metal world, to the Lord, killing such a demon is not difficulty. He can kill millions of demons as simply as child plays with a doll and breaks them. No, he says that Sutta Goswami now comes back to the discussion between Sutta Goswami and Saunaka. My dear Brahmana, Kashta Vidra, the great devotee of Lord achieved transcendental bliss by hearing the narration of pastimes of personality of Godhead after the authoritative source of sages, Kausharava. He was very pleased. And Prabhupada writes that if anyone wants to derive transcendental pleasure by hearing the pastimes of Lord, he must hear from authority. Maitreya heard from authority. One becomes an authority simply by presenting whatever he heard. One who does not accept a bona fide spiritual master cannot be authority. This is what Prabhupada is telling. This is clearly explained. If one wants to have transcendental pleasure, he must. So just by hearing from authority only, we can experience pleasure. We don't need any much information, special jokes and all. We just have to hear from authorities. That gives the heart satisfied. Otherwise, it will just remain till the mind. Mind is satisfied, but heart is not satisfied. That is the point. One can release the pastimes of the Lord, though it's not possible. Sanatan Goswami therefore especially warned that one should not hear anything about the personality of God from the lips of a non-devotee. So many kathakars are there. They give so much entertainment, but it's not touching to the heart. It's just to the mind only. People come, go, attend in thousands, but life remains the same thing. Not only does it have no effect in transcendental pleasure, but it is dangerous also. Lord Chaitanya warned that no description of pastimes of Lord should be heard from the Mayavadis or impersonal school. Very dangerous. People here, all over India, so many Mayavadis, so much nonsense. Once one is associated with impersonalists, he can never understand the personal feature of Lord and his transcendental pastimes. So here Suta Goswami speaking to Shaunaka, therefore he addressed them as Dvija. Assembly sages assembled Naimisharanya hearing Bhagavatam from Suta Goswami are all Brahmanas, but to acquire the qualification of Brahmana is not everything. Merely to be twice born is not perfection. Perfection is attained when one hears the pastimes and activities of Lord. Just be a Brahmana, nothing. What to speak of hearing the pastimes of Lord, whose chest is marked with Sivasa? People may take transcendental pleasure even in hearing the works and deeds of devotees whose fame is immortal. Because Bhagavatam literally means the pastimes of Lord and Lord's devotees. For example, the pastimes of Krishna and narration of devotees, Prahlad, Dhruva, Ambarish, both pastimes pertain to the Supreme Personality of God because the devotees' pastimes are in relation with Him. The Mahabharata, for example, the history of Pandavas and activities is sacred because Pandavas are a direct relation with the Supreme Lord. The personality of God delivered. This is text 35. The personality of God delivered the king of elephants, who was attacked by an alligator, and who meditated upon the lotus feet of the Lord. At the time, the female elephants who accompanied him were crying, and the Lord saved them from the impending danger. So the example is Gajendra Muksha is given. So it happened in the Vaivasvatman. The example of not just one before this Vaivasman. The example of elephant is danger who was saved by Supreme Lord, especially cited here because even if one is an animal, he can approach the Supreme Lord. Whereas a demigod cannot approach the Supreme Lord unless he is a devotee. Oh, this is a famous shloka. Tam sukha rajyam rujibhi ananya sharanayandribhi kataknya kona seveta durarajyam asadabhi. What a grateful soul is there who would not render his loving service to such a great master as the personality of God. The Lord can be easily pleased by spotless devotees who restore exclusively to him for protection, though the unrighteous man find it difficult to perpetrate him. Every living entity. This is a very famous lecture of Radhana Swami Maharaj. You might have heard it. If you are not, please listen. This is devotee must be grateful. This is a very famous lecture of Radhana Swami. You can go if you get an opportunity, please listen. Such a nice lecture. Every living entity, especially persons in the human race, must feel grateful for the benedictions offered by the grace of Supreme Lord. Anyone, therefore, with a simple heart of gratefulness must be Krishna conscious and offer devotional service to the Lord. Those who are actually thieves and rogues do not recognize or acknowledge the benedictions offered to them by the Supreme Lord and they cannot render him devotional service. Ungrateful persons are those who do not understand how much benefit they are deriving by the arrangement of Lord. They enjoy a sunshine and moonshine and they get wet water free of charge, yet they do not feel grateful, but simply go on enjoying these gifts of Lord. Therefore, they must be called thieves and rogues. is a very, very important points Prabhupada making. Or at least they don't even acknowledge. That is the greatest tragedy for them. They can't even acknowledge what they're receiving from the Lord. So ungrateful people. They can at least say thanks for what they are enjoying. They take everything for granted. This is a homework for you. Listen the lecture of Maharaj. It's very nice. O Brahmanas, anyone who hears, stands, and takes pleasure in the wonderful narration of the killing of the Hiranyaksha demon by the Lord, who appear as a firstborn in order to deliver the world, is at once relieved of results of sinful activities, even the killing of a Brahmana. Just read the purport. Since the personality of Godhead is an absolute position, there is no difference between his pastime and his personality. Anyone who hears about the pastimes of Lord associated with the Lord directly, and one who associates directly with the Lord is certainly free from the results of all sinful activities, even to the extent of killing a Brahmana, which is considered the most sinful activity in the material world. One should be very eager to hear about the activities of the Lord from the bona fide source, the pure devotee, but simply gives oral receptions to narrations and accepts the glories of Lord. He is a qualified. So Prabhupada is telling that this Mayavadis they cannot understand. On the contrary, they deride it in their own way, describe in their own way. We should not hear therefore from Mayavadis. We should hear from devotees. Then we get real benefit. In the last look at this most sacred narration confirms extraordinary merit, wealth, fame, longevity, and all the objects of one's desires. On the field of battle, it promotes the strength of one's vital organs and organs of action. One who listens to it at the last moment of his life is transferred to the supreme abode of Lord, O dear Shaunaka. So, Prabhupada writing, devotees are generally attracted by the narrations of pastimes of Lord, even though they do not prosecute austerities or meditation. This very process of hearing attentively about the pastimes of Lord will endow them all with innumerable benefits such as wealth, fame, longevity, and other desired aims of life. If one continues to hear Bhagavatam, which is full of narratives of the pastimes of Lord, at the end of this life, one is sure to be transferred to the eternal, transcendental abode of the Lord. Thus, hearers are benefited both ultimately and for a long, as long as they are in the material world. This is the supreme, sublime results of engaging devotion. Now, if you see Goswamis, now they lost everything. They heard the past times, they were always hearing, but they don't have any place to stay only. Prabhupada also, he also lost everything. He was just saying in Radha Damodar temple because they don't want it. So even if wealth, fame, name, longevity, devotees want to serve the Lord. The beginning of devotional service is to spare some time and listen to Bhagavatam from the right source. Lord Chaitanya has recommended 5 items of devotional service, namely to serve the Lord, devotees of Lord, chant Hare Krishna, hear Bhagavatam, worship deity, and live in place of pilgrimage. Just performing these 5 activities can deliver one from the miserable condition of material life. Thus, in the Bhaktivinoda purport of the third canto, 19th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, killing of the demon, Hiranyaksha. So, thank you all very much. Any questions, comments?